How Does Prayer Actually Work? By Peter Baxa. Albert Einstein formulated the theory of relativity, which basically says that space is curved, there is no absolute but everything is observed relative to something else and, most important for us here, the fastest speed that anything in this universe can go is the speed of light. Not being a fan of quantum mechanics, he spent a good deal of his life after 1925 trying to precisely determine both the position and the momentum of a particle, thus finding a violation of the uncertainty principle and hence quantum mechanics. In 1935, Einstein and two others proposed an experiment to do just that. The idea was to set up an interaction such that two particles go off in opposite directions and do not interact with anything else. Wait until they are far apart, then measure the momentum of one and the position of the other. Because of conservation of momentum, you can determine the momentum of the particle not measured, so when you measure its position you know both its momentum and position. The only way quantum physics could be true is if the particles could communicate faster than the speed of light, which Einstein reasoned would be impossible because of his theory of relativity. The experiment was finally carried out in 1982, where it was determined that even if information needed to be communicated faster than light to prevent it, it was not possible to determine both the position and the momentum of a particle at the same time. This does not mean that it's possible to send a message faster than light, since viewing either one of the two particles gives no information about the other. It's only when both are seen that we find that quantum mechanics has agreed with the experiment. This doesn't mean that relativity is wrong, just that the particles do not communicate by any means we know about. All we know is that every particle knows what every other particle it has ever interacted with is doing. This odd principle is known as entanglement. When a particle has once met with another similar particle, their energy states can become entangled, such that however far apart they are, what happens to one can influence the other. So, not only can the measuring of a particle influence its final state, the act might also influence the state of another particle somewhere else that it's entangled with. This action at a distance is not something that Einstein liked a whole lot, and seems to be almost magical in nature. Obviously there is some sort of subatomic exchange between them, a communication of energy going constantly back and forth. But all particles are comprised of energy, which brings us to something suggested by the zero-point field equations. These equations extend the individual energy fields each particle has into a single field that connects all particles, all matter, everywhere, including us and our thoughts. Thus, there is only one energy field around and everything is a part of it, everything is entangled within it. Picture a large bowl of jello, with pieces of fruit floating within it. Poke it with a fork at one end, trying to stab one of the pieces of fruit, but try to do it without disturbing the whole thing. Your result will always be the same. Poke one piece of fruit and the entire bowl of jello will wiggle, causing all the fruit within it to jiggle around as well. If you're very careful, you will be able to lessen how much jiggling goes on, but you'll never stop it by way of your own action or inaction. Each piece of fruit inside the jello will always feel at least a little something. Now imagine if the pieces of fruit could each move on their own, or in place of fruit we have little tiny people, each struggling to get out or move about. Whenever one moves, the bowl starts jiggling and everyone feels it. They are all entangled with one another within the jello. The zero-point field is the jello that we all find ourselves within. It constantly interacts with all particles everywhere on a quantum level. Thus, this constant interaction of quantum particles with the zero-point field might be the explanation for entanglement, allowing one particle to be in touch with every other particle at any given moment. But admitting the existence of the zero-point field means admitting that all matter everywhere is interconnected and entangled, all throughout the cosmos. The energy of any given particle can potentially interact with the energy of any other given particle. This opens up a wide range of possibilities once you realize one simple thing. All matter is comprised of energy, and human beings are matter. Moreover, we have a brain that generates its own energy, its own electromagnetic field. If all electromagnetic fields are interconnected through this zero-point field, then so must the energy of our minds, our thoughts. This would explain such things as telepathy, where the thoughts of one person can be projected and picked up by another many miles away, or explain how a strong enough desire can manifest itself into reality. It is because our thoughts create a disturbance in this universal field of entanglement, shifting things around in the manner being so willed until an end result comes up that matches up with what the thought pattern desired. Since all energy is connected into this zero-point field, and all matter is comprised of energy, it follows that every organism everywhere is in perpetual quantum communication via this field. An ongoing communication by which our thoughts can have a physical effect. In the same way that measuring the state of an object alters the state of that object, we are sort of measuring our world with our thoughts and, in so doing, changing its state. We are the ruler being held up to the universe. Our thoughts manifest themselves in our reality. Prayer is a moment where the mind is silenced and directed. We are at our point of power ready to manifest. We are speaking to God, to the universe, to the same energies that creates worlds from nothingness. Observe your thoughts as our reality as a reflection of their tambour. Change your thoughts, change your life.